Android users, you can now have TYT in the palm of your hand. Our TYT app is available for download in the Google Play Store. Just go to tyt.com/app to find out more.
Alex Jones is facing lawsuits pertaining to false statements that he has uttered on his program Infowars. Now, this particular lawsuit has to do with the parents who lost their children as a result of the Sandy Hook shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. So lawyers for Noah Posner's parents will seek to convince a Texas judge that they, and by extension the families of 8 other victims in the 2012 shooting, have a valid defamation claim against Jones, whose Infowars media operation spread false claims that the shooting was an elaborate hoax. Now, they have been harassed ruthlessly by people who listen to Alex Jones and watch Infowars. So, and I'll give you an example of how their lives have been destroyed as a result. In the 5 years since Noah Posner was killed at Sandy Hook Elementary, death threats and online harassment have forced his parents to relocate 7 times. They now live in a high security community hundreds of miles from where their 6-year-old is buried. Okay, so they want to go visit their 6-year-old's grave, but are unable to do so because they're unhinged maniacs who follow the biggest unhinged maniac and think that this is an elaborate hoax to take guns away from people.
Every time they move, somebody that's involved in spreading the conspiracy theories publishes their street address. So, and then there are people who show up, etc. I mean, they lost their kids in a massacre, and then they have to live with this the rest of their lives. So, I mean, some of his unhinged stuff is funny because he's such a lunatic, but this isn't funny. This is terrible. He's a despicable human being.
These parents reached out to YouTube to get these videos taken down. And then he goes on unhinged rants about how YouTube took those videos down. And so that's actually important evidence, because in order to prove defamation, you have to prove that the individual accused of defamation knowingly was spreading false information to ruin the reputations of people, destroy the lives of people, and so that could be used against him in court. Now, with that said, he's continued on with nonsense conspiracy theories. Last week, he actually broadcast a bizarre accusation that Robert Mueller was involved in a child sex ring, because he didn't learn anything from Pizzagate, right?
Oh, of course, he's still talking about Pizzagate today in a show he did.
So here is part of the broadcast where he accuses Mueller of being part of this child sex ring.
They'd let Mueller rape kids in front of people, which he did. I mean, Mueller covered up for a decade for Epstein, kidnapping kids, flying them on sex planes, some kids as young as 7 years old, reportedly, with big perverts raping them to frame people. I mean, Mueller is a monster, man. God, imagine. He's even above the pedophiles, though. The word is he doesn't have sex with the kids. He just controls it all. Can you imagine being a monster like that? God, people say, well, God, aren't you scared of him? I'm scared of not manning up. I'm constantly in fear that I'm not being a real man and I'm not doing what it takes and I'm not telling the truth. And so call it whatever you want. I look at that guy and he's a sack of crap. That's a demon I will take down or I'll die trying. So that's it. It's going to happen. We're going to walk out in the square politically at high noon, and he's going to find out when he makes a move, man. Make the move first, and then it's going to happen. It's not a joke. It's not a game. It's the real world. Politically, you're going to get it, or I'm going to die trying. Get ready.
No, I'm done. I'm done having conversations about whether or not online social media platforms should ban this content. This is not a free speech issue. This is not protected speech. Hate speech, protected, right? This is not protected. This is flat out defamation. This is inciting violence. He is a bad person. And this annoying conversation and debate with Mark Zuckerberg about whether or not Infowars should exist on Facebook is driving me crazy. This is not a good person. This is not a free speech issue.
So, look, today he said that Obama sleeps with 10 dudes a day. And again, some of it is so weird that it's amusing. He says that that Obama is into $65,000 worth of succulent hot dogs. And I don't know what that means. He says Amtrak is not a train.
Okay.
I actually think it is a train. So Okay, now, having said all that, look, that stuff that he did with Mueller and what he does with the Posners is abhorrent. So he threw in politically a couple of times to cover himself, but he's doing the gun motion there. And more important than that, even before he talked about gunning him down at high noon, he said, I'm afraid I'm not doing enough to stop this monster, this devil. Now, the last part of it is, look, Mueller is at least a guy who was the head of the FBI and presumably, I hope, knows how to protect himself. But he does it to regular people like the Posners whose kids were killed in that massacre. He went on an hour-long tirade, an angry rant against this individual, the citizen that doesn't have a decent way to protect himself. His 6-year-old was murdered. And now you're encouraging people. One of the things that he did was called Infowars broadcast in April 2017, the Sandy Hook Vampires Exposed. And he riles people up. I mean, you saw the video for yourself. It's obvious what he's trying to do. There are monsters among us, and it's not Robert Mueller and it's not the Posners. It's this guy, Young Turks. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.